Okay, digital imaging. Today what we're going to do is we're going to do some more practice here with our Bezier tool. And so I've got my document open, and you want to make sure that you're using all the same settings that I'm using here. So you want to make sure you got your layers open here. So we're working on this student layer here. Here's our document. You want to make sure you keep that locked here. And then over here on the left we've got our tools panel, and I'm going to grab the Bezier tool. Remember that with these different tools here, there's this little caret in the corner. So if I hold my mouse button down, I've got multiple functions here. You just want to make sure that you're on the Bezier tool here. So some of this is some of the same things that we've done before with our other Bezier intro. Some pretty easy tools here, and then we're going to go to a little bit more complicated here. Again, remember that the Bezier tool is a hard tool to use. But it also is a really good drawing tool to use as well. You'll find yourself using it pretty often here. So I'm going to start with some of these easy ones here. And so this one is pretty straightforward. I'm just going to click once with my mouse button and then click. And I'm not holding my mouse button down at all. I'm just clicking on this and just filling that in here. Okay. Then I've got a fill. So I need to get rid of that fill here. Remember down here at the bottom on the left hand side, we've got your fill, which is this box, and then your stroke. And I'm actually going to flip this to a stroke, and I'm just going to give this kind of like a little bit of a brighter color, and that way you guys can kind of see what I'm doing here. Okay. So remember, if we want to make a straight line, we can hold our shift key here and make a straight line. So this is all straight lines here. And then I can not hold shift for that part right there and make that little angle there. Okay. You also know I've got a little bit of this guide here inside Illustrator, and we'll talk about getting that off later on here. It's kind of helpful right now for this part here, so we'll keep using it. Okay. And you'll find that the Bezier tool kind of like locks into those little points on the document, those anchor points. So it makes it a little bit easier here. Okay. This egg shape we've done before. So remember with this one, your first anchor that you make, you're going to pull up like that and make that curve here. And then remember with this, you want to try to get this as close as possible to mine as you can. So I'm clicking and dragging and I'm pulling with my Bezier handles. Now I'm going to go back to where I started. Notice that my Bezier tool is highlighting that anchor point, and then there's also this little circle here, meaning I'm going to complete that path, and I'm going to make an enclosed path with my shapes here. Okay, a lot of times with the Bezier tool, you kind of want to decide where you want to start. So I could start here, but I'm actually going to start in the corner. I usually start with kind of like a 90-degree or 45-degree when I start drawing something with the Bezier tool, and then I'll work with the curves. I find for me that's a lot easier. Okay, and then we've done some of these shapes here already. Again, I'm going to start here in the corner and go like that. This one I'm going to pull up here and then pull down. Going to pull up and then pull down again and then end over here. Okay, I'm going to leave this one to the last here, and then this one is hard. This one is going to be a little bit difficult here. What we're going to do is we're going to use our option key to adjust some of our handles, and you'll see why here in a little bit. So I'm going to pull over here like this, pull down like that, and then pull up like this. Now, if I try to make this, you'll see that I can't quite make that. So if I hold my Alt key, you'll see that my Bezier handle will change. And now I can grab my handle here, and I'm going to bring this down here to this section like that. And you'll notice now I can make my curve. So what I've done is I've adjusted my Bezier handle and adjusted it so I can make that curve here. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing with this one. I'm gonna pull this handle all the way over like that, up like this. Okay. I'm gonna pull this one up a little bit, so I'm holding my Alt key down here. And then same thing with this one. I'm gonna pull that handle all the way out here. These guides tell you where you need to pull those handles here to make those curves. Okay, and then I'm gonna go back to where I started and complete that anchor point. So this, learning how to when to pull those handles and which direction, that also takes a little bit of practice here. You just need to kind of get used to using the tool, and you'll start to kind of figure out when you need to do those. So same thing with this one. I'm going to make this straight line. I'm going to click and pull my handle out like that. Make this curve. Okay. Click and pull down like this. Click and pull up. Click and pull down. Now you'll see my handles here are in kind of a funny orientation. That means I'm going to change my handles here. I'm going to click and pull. Now I'm going to press down on my Alt key. I'm going to bring that handle down here. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to click and pull up. I'm looking at this bottom handle here that's in the right spot, and now I can hold my Alt key down and pull this other handle in the right direction. Click and pull up. I'm going to pull this handle all the way and leave it right here at this anchor point. Okay. This one, I'm going to click and pull this handle all the way down here like that. So all I did was make a straight line, and then I pulled that handle down. And you'll notice now I've got a long curve here so that I can make this long curve here. Okay, and then I'm going to click and pull up like this. I might have went a little too far here. You see it's not quite right. So I'm just going to leave it, because what I want to do is I want to make sure that I make the right line. I'm not so stuck on trying to make sure that my handle is in the right spot here. And it'll kind of work itself out too when I do that. Okay, and then this last one, I'm just trying to make sure that that curve is in the right spot, and then go like that. I'm going to change the thickness of my stroke here, and I'm going to select all these lines and make all these the same stroke thickness. So I'm going to click and drag, grab my selection tool, and then I'm going to increase my stroke here. It looks like it got rid of my fill color, or my stroke color, not my fill color. Oh, whoops. Looks like I selected my text too. Okay, and then last thing for this one, and you'll see what we're going to do is we're going to also make a circle here. We could just grab our ellipse tool and make a circle, but let's make this circle with the Bezier. So I could start at either one of those anchor points and then pull up like this. What we want to do is we want to cut this key out. So I'm going to give this a fill, and then you kind of see what's happening here. Okay, I want to cut this shape out. So there's lots of different ways that I could do this. Probably the easiest way is I can hold Shift and select my both pieces. So I've got this piece selected and this piece. And then I can go to my Pathfinder tool, and then it'll cut the top piece is what's going to cut out this bottom piece. So I'm going to click, and then it's going to cut that piece out. Okay, so it's kind of like a cookie cutter, and it's cut that piece out. It's still got the stroke, so you still got this pink stroke on the outside and then on the inside here to cut that out. Okay, so do the same thing as I did, and then leave this filled in with a color here so that I can see that you've cut this out correctly. All right.